Vanakkam. Welcome to this course on classics in neuroscience. We have been looking at the breakthrough in psychopharmacology in helping to treat patients with psychiatric disorders or people with neuropsychiatric disorders. In the previous class, we looked at monoamine oxidase inhibitors and imipramine and other such tricyclic drugs in treatment of depression. In this class, we will look at the use of lithium, minor tranquilizers, specifically we will look at meprobamate. The use of lithium against manic depressive states came from a completely separate line of work. This was initially identified by John Cade, who was working with guinea pigs and the toxic effect of human urine on guinea pigs. He suggested that maybe manic states might produce an excess of some body product which would be excreted in higher amounts in urine. So, while testing the toxic effects of human urine on guinea pigs, he was led to the use of a soluble form of uric acid bound to lithium, and he eventually found that the toxic effects of urea was protected due to the presence of lithium. And so, he found that injecting lithium carbonate to guinea pigs produced lethargy in the guinea pigs. So, he suggested maybe if we use lithium, it will reduce excitable states in people with psychosis. And this was not noted by many scientists. This was in 1949, but it was not noted by many scientists. Few people took notice. But in 1954, the efficacy of lithium in treatment of mania was shown by Morgan's School and was then suggested as a therapeutic agent for bipolar disorder. But there was a problem, that was lithium carbonate or salts of lithium are commonly available, common salts of a metal, and the formula could not be patented. So, pharmaceutical companies were not very keen on pursuing this line of work because it was not profitable to them. Something to keep in mind of the many reasons or the motivation of corporations. But that is not to say that lithium is a great drug, just suggesting that the motivation for different people would be different for the same, towards solving the same problem. The motivation can be different. Different from the more serious or the severe types of psychosis such as schizophrenia and depression, there are more minor forms such as agitation, overexcitement, insomnia, headaches or tension, gastrointestinal disturbances, all these together called as neurosis. There was a need to address these kinds of problems that were less severe than depression or schizophrenia. One solution is alcohol. One of the many methods available is alcohol, but the problem is it has a very general effect of calming, does not have a specific effect. This is true of smoking or use of opiates. All of these have a general calming effect and does not address the specific problem, but more importantly the side effects can be huge because alcohol, tobacco, opiates are all addictive. Also barbiturates also are frequently used for these purposes, these are also addictive. Egged on by the success of chlorpromazine in treating severe states, pharmaceutical companies were very keen on identifying anxiolytics or calming agents for less severe conditions such as neurosis. So, in the 1940s there was research to develop drug against penicillin resistant bacteria, completely different line, and Frank Berger identified mefenacin, which at relatively high doses made animals limp due to muscle relaxation and sedation, although they are fully conscious. So, their motor actions are completely withdrawn, a form of tranquilization. He called this as tranquilizing. So, mefenacin was found to be a muscle relaxant and it relieves from anxiety without actually affecting consciousness. So, the person will remain conscious, but just that he will be a lot relaxed. The problem with mefenacin was that it was metabolized very fast. So, scientists were looking for a compound that was more slow to be metabolized. They identified meprobamate in 1954, that is sold under the commercial name Miltown in the United States, sold as a first anti-anxiety drug. It was a minor tranquilizer. After this, barbiturates were considered to be sedatives instead of being used as anti-anxiety drugs. Of course, it turned out later that it was found that meprobamate caused drowsiness, and people developed tolerance to larger doses, leading to addiction. So, essentially it is habit forming, so its effect is limited, yes. But it was used in the treatment of less severe conditions as an anti-anxiety agent against neurosis, for example. So, with this we come to the end of this video. In this video we looked at lithium, minor tranquilizers such as alcohol, tobacco, opiates, barbiturates, and meprobamate as an anti-anxiety drug. With this we come to the end of this video. Thank you for your attention.